Welcome to episode 28 of Auto Off Topic. I'm your host, Andrew.
And I'm your other host, Brad.
We have a guest tonight, Brad.
We do.
Yep.
This is a first for us.
It is.
Not the first time having a guest. First time having a guest with a remote.
Yeah, remote guest. So we're doing it via a phone-in call. So we apologize if it doesn't sound great, but we're trying. We're trying new stuff.
We're learning new stuff as we go along.
And, hopefully we can allow us to have other guests that aren't local, which is really cool.
Which is why
we've got Eric Karahalis. Did I say that right?
Said it perfect. Thank you. Yeah.
Awesome. So Eric is joining us. I just said that joining us for a video chat. Well, sort of. Google Hangouts. He's a Dodge Raider, Montero off-roading and overland enthusiast. We kind of met last summer through the Montero Facebook group.
The Northeast Montero.
The Northeast one. And we did like one day of like trail ride. I mean, you got to hand it to the internet, right? So Eric drove up like 4 hours from where he lives in New York. Maybe more than that, like 6 hours?
Yeah, I don't remember. Maybe like five and a half, something like that. Yeah.
To meet total strangers.
In the woods.
And yeah. We met at a coffee shop first. But
okay.
We met up with total strangers. We spent all day together. We found some Class 6 roads in New Hampshire. It was real fun. We went with Jordan. And our other friend, we got out with Chris, has a Delica, four-wheel drive Delica.
Oh, that was the event that the Delica van went to? Excellent.
Yeah, that was so rad, getting that Delica out there, because he was real nervous about it. Yeah, that was
great having the Delica, the 1989. It was awesome.
Yeah. But anyway, recently we heard you attended the Smokey Mountain Overland Rally, or the SMOR for short, which was its first year. And we just kind of wanted to know more about that, because we had talked about it previously, but we didn't really, we didn't go, so we don't know firsthand what happened. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. SMOR. So, yeah, Smoky Mountain Overland Rally. I had a blast with you guys up in New Hampshire, and I do enjoy, long drives, and I do enjoy, wheeling. So, AJ Vega, he's a Northeast crew member. He's up in Maine, so he's typically, as a matter of fact, this weekend we're going to Vermont to do some wheeling. We're going to sleep out, camp out Friday night, wheel all day Saturday. So I got really excited about Vermont Overland Rally, and then I just started searching the internet, and I forget who, but I think someone on the Mitsubishi Montero USA Facebook page, shout out to Frank Eck. The great page, brought a lot of people together, right? I mean, brought us together. AJ up in Maine is like, a super contributing member to putting together, wheeling meetups. And so it's great. It is funny that you guys called it the internets. I like calling it the interweb.
Yeah.
But, it's got its pluses sometimes.
Yeah, we're going to give a quick shout out to Frank Eck, too, because he promotes the hell out of this podcast, and we appreciate that every week.
Yes, we do. Thanks, Frank.
Yeah, he's the man. I appreciate it. And never hesitant to help you figure out a problem, or throw out a sarcastic meme if you got to come.
Yeah,
absolutely. So it was the first year of the Smoky Mountain Overland Rally, correct?
Correct. So, yeah, I found out about it through the Mitsubishi Montero page. It was in Del Rio, Tennessee. For me, it was a 12-hour stretch down. So, that was exciting. Again, I've driven across country a couple times, up and down the East Coast. My parents growing up, we've always taken my mom's afraid to fly, so we've always taken road trips.
Yeah.
So, I love the road. I love taking long drives.
I'm with you on that.
So, yeah, went down there. I'm sorry?
I said I'm with you on that one. I appreciate the long drives, too. That's why I run that truck and trailer. Get to go down on the East Coast as much as possible.
That's great, yeah. You took that trip, you went to Arizona to pick up Andrew's rig, right? Or no, you didn't do that?
No, we didn't wind up doing that.
No.
Didn't work out, unfortunately.
Yeah, just the timing wasn't right, but that's okay.
Next time.
Yeah, the west to east drive is a lot of fun, and vice versa. So you're gonna have fun picking up some trucks for sure, or cars.
Yeah, whatever.
Right. So I went down. It was held on, from what I understand, it was a farm that I believe, at least that was, the buzz that was going around. It was a member of one of the local Tennessee 4x4 groups' home, and they had, a decent amount of property, a little bit of a farm, big enough to have a couple of, campgrounds and then some back trails on the property, which I have to say I didn't get a chance to explore. And then, you got there, it was I want to say it was organized by, I think it's Tommy Clapp of Overland, Bold Overland down in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
They were a great group of guys, great group of people, both male and female, members of their group. A lot of really cool forerunners, some pickup trucks, a Raptor, and they were super hospitable. So you got there, and you basically got a schedule of the weekend. The way it worked was Friday check-in, and then either evening class or an evening trail ride.
Uh-huh.
And the entire weekend was pretty much your choice of morning, afternoon, and evening classes or trail rides. So you could schedule as freely as you wanted. If you wanted to do a morning class, do an afternoon trail ride, do a night class so you could hang around camp, or do a night trail ride. It was pretty much, so if you wanted to just wheel the whole weekend, 3 trail rides a day, obviously not 3 on Saturday, 1 trail ride on Friday for a night ride, and then Sunday I believe they had a morning and an afternoon.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, so that was at least, and then, they had a beautiful, it wasn't occupied, but it was like an old-fashioned, cabin where the check-in was, and, again, extremely picturesque. That was one of the reasons I wanted to go down. I've never been to the Smoky Mountains. Anyone I've spoken to about, Smoky Mountains has, told me how beautiful, how picturesque, and I wanted to take a look at that. So.
Well, yeah, a couple of years ago, we drove down and drove the Tail of the Dragon, and that's in the Smoky Mountains. Of course, it's all pavement because we were in cars, but every morning where we camped, you'd wake up and like the smoke, well, not the smoke, but the fog it kind of falls into the valleys. And we're like, oh, that must be where the Smoky Mountains get their names. And, the Terre Haute Skyway is pretty cool. You get to drive up. It's like 5,000 or 6,000 feet at its topmost point. So that was really neat. Yeah, it's definitely really beautiful down there. And anybody on the East Coast should take a swing through the, is it North Carolina, Tennessee area?
Yeah, it's the North Carolina-Tennessee border is kind of where the Smoky Mountains are. It's a pretty amazing area. I agree with everything Eric said. It's absolutely gorgeous down there.
Yeah. So were these like, did they lead the trail rides, or they just give you like a maps and just go at it?
Yeah, unlike the Vermont Overland Rally, it wasn't just go and explore. There was at least that wasn't the way it was. No, if you went out, it was all organized. Every trail ride had a lead car, tail car. As a matter of fact, every day, at least most trails, if you'd have, so like I said, it was morning, afternoon, evening class, right? Or morning, afternoon, evening trail ride, and you can mix that any way you liked. And the trail rides themselves had a beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So you could pick. There might be certain times of the day where there might not have been an advance. Advance might have been maybe twice a day on Saturday, or I'm going off memory right now. I forget exactly the details,
that's fine.
But yeah. So, and the trail guides were great. I mean, again, Bold Overland, those guys were fantastic. I've watched some of their, if anybody out there into overlanding, Bold Overland on YouTube. They have their website as well. As a matter of fact, if you click on their website, you'll see the old-fashioned cabin where the Smokey Mountain Overland Rally was, the registration was held, and where they basically camped around that weekend. And they were, super nice, super professional, again, family-oriented. There were kids running around. I know Bold Overland, that's a big part of their, their kind of mission is family oriented and fun and safety. And that was definitely, present, so it was great in that respect. So yeah, they were all guided trail rides. You were allowed to explore around the property, but like I said, when we came back to base camp, you just rolled up to where your spot was and hung out. You didn't really, at least we didn't want to explore. You mentioned the Dragon when I was at the Overland Rally. So I met up with a couple of enthusiasts, the Mitsubishi Montero USA group. To be honest, too, dropping Frank X's name, I think like a fifth time now or fourth time, but I was hoping that if I drove south enough, I would just run into him.
Yeah.
So, and unfortunately, life, he had stuff going on, so he couldn't get up. But so that was half the reason too. And I did get to meet up with Robert Lee, Carolyn, as well as William. I'm forgetting his last name off the top of my head. Who when you mentioned the Dragon, I know you guys come in from the car arena. I come in more from the truck arena. And William was, he's got a Gen 3. He's from Florida. He came up with his dad. Super nice family. Cooked up some beautiful chili for us one night out of a Dutch oven. Matter of fact, I ordered one just because I was like, wow, that's cool. Really cool. And he had done the Dragon. I forget what kind of car he had. Definitely came in same like you guys, Car World, but also somehow ended up with a Gen 3 Mitsubishi Montero. And, he had a lot of fun. And then, like I said, Robert Lee, he has a Gen 1 89 short wheelbase, 5-speed stick like me. It was awesome. It was so cool to be, again, in a field with, a bunch of enthusiasts. Charlie, I'm going to say his last name wrong without looking on Facebook, but like Aurelia or something. He's on the page. He actually travels around the overlanding kind of expos and does classes in kind of field first aid and things of that nature. And then what was also cool was this guy Spencer, who was from the Overland Bold Overland group that was hosting the event. He had a Montero Sport. So
all in
all, there were five of us down there in Montero.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
That's more than you're going to see at the Vermont Overland Rally, unfortunately.
Well, I think this year we've got. As soon as I signed up, I got an email back like, "Whoa, Montero!" And then I think.
Well, Eric, you're going this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm psyched. I'm really excited.
Do you know if AJ's going?
AJ is definitely going. He's going to be going through a different group, but he's going to come hang with us.
All right, excellent.
Yeah.
So there'll be at least three Monteros.
Yep, and and our buddy Joe and his lifted Subaru.
Oh yeah, he'll be back again.
Yep, and of course,
I heard about that. I heard about that from AJ. He was like, "Dude, I can't tell you what I saw this thing doing."
I guess he surprised a lot of people. I guess you can do quite a bit with a lifted Subaru, and which I guess that there's something to be said about the old driving a Subaru. So.
And of course, Jordan will be there in his Xterra with us.
We doubted you, Joe, but you proved everyone wrong. So we apologize humbly.
What's that? You didn't think he was going, or
we didn't think he was going to make it?
Yeah, because there's no low range in that car. So we're just kind of like, man, it's going to be real hard off road, no low range. But nope, just kind of go right through.
He got rid of the problem of having no low range by going straight high range by just lots of revs, lots of wheel spin.
But
nice.
It worked. So. There's some videos out there too of it.
Nice.
So the roads down at the Smoky Mountain Rally, were they public roads or was it all closed off private land?
So just because I was coming down from New York, I didn't have the I didn't have the benefit of spending the whole time. So I drove down Thursday night to get a full Friday, which I did get. Friday night we took the intermediate trail ride to basically, man, I should have written down some of these.
That's
names.
all right. No worries.
But it's a state park, pretty much like you guys said, right on the Tennessee-North Carolina border, and Hurricane Creek Trail. It was actually someone recently just posted on Mitsubishi Montero USA about going to do it sometime, I think this weekend. And when I tell you, it was such a cool trail. So that trail, Hurricane, that's a state park. So when we were exiting, we ran into, we didn't run into people, but we saw campers, off to the left and to the right, off the main trail, enjoying, really beautiful, secluded, mountainside. Hurricane Creek, it's like a creek, that runs, I wouldn't be able to tell you the elevation, but we took it up, we climbed up it, and then we basically came down like the backside, like the easy side. And we did it pretty much, we got to the trailhead, maybe at dusk. So we did the whole thing, at night. And that was the first time that I had ever went four-wheeling at night. I might have gone down a trail or two, out east on Long Island when I was younger, but not like, really need to spot my lines and, just keep an eye on what's in front of me kind of a thing. So the level of adrenaline just was amplified, because of, just the darkness and just the topography. And so you basically kind of like, if you will, you're kind of snaking up a mountain. And every now and again, you're going through like a creek, which is pretty decent water for it. I mean, again, I've crossed water before, but this was raging. I mean, raging. All right, I'm being dramatic. It's being dramatic. It was a strong current. So when I looked at it, I'm like, oh my goodness. And I even went in like, with a little bit of a, a little bit of a left arc just in case the current wanted to push the truck. I mean, I didn't lose traction at all. I dug in, but it's dark. I've never been, in the Tennessee mountains. There's a lot of water. The guy in front of me's got, let's see, a Jeep JK with a 3-inch lift, 35-inch tires, and his rear bumper just disappeared. It's like,
that's deep. So that's probably at least 3 foot.
Yeah, it was increments. So you went down, and then when he bottomed out, like, so your front tires are going back up, but your bottom is, you dipped in deep. So it's it was kind of intense. It was great,
that sounds a little intense, especially at night. I've never been out in the woods wheeling at night. That sounds fun.
I haven't either.
Get to use all those flashy LED light bars that everybody has now.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that was a concern. I have one in front, so I just made sure I aimed it down really well, and I kept a pretty good distance. Once in a while, you just like, I don't know, you get so excited. The next thing you know, you're kind of riding the guy in front of you.
Yeah.
A Willie Goat is the guy in front of me. I'm assuming his name is William. He's from Indiana, and so on the CB, I just kept calling him Indiana. So I'm like, sorry, Indiana, getting a little excited. So yeah, I just remember doing a lot of hooting into the CB that night.
Nice.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. I'd like to do that for sure. Do some night trail riding. We don't get to do that in Vermont, I don't think, do we?
I'm not sure.
No, I haven't been, so
yeah.
I'm excited for this year.
Yeah, it's
matter of fact. I'm sorry, guys. Just this weekend, like I said, we're going to meet up in Vermont. That's one of the things we're going to Friday night. We're going to wheel to the trailhead just because it was literally so much fun in Tennessee. I was like, all right, we got to do this. We got to do this now.
You know what's funny is Jordan and I are going to be in Vermont this weekend.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're not going to have any trucks. We're going to have my pickup truck, and I'm towing his rallycross car up to Mount Snow for the rallycross event up there this weekend. So we'll be up there, but we won't be able to go wheeling, unfortunately.
Cool.
Yeah, it's supposed to rain a lot, too.
I'll scream when I'm in the mountains, and maybe you'll hear me.
It'll echo through the mountains.
Be careful, it's going to be real muddy.
Yeah, again, like you bring it back to s'more. So the weather, right? It was. I've never been, like I said, I've never been to Smoky Mountains, but it gave us everything. It gave us sunshine. It gave us rainbows. It gave us light rain. It gave us torrential whiteout downpour, and it gave us a little bit of hail too. So it was, in terms of like, feeling like a mountain man and wanting to get the overland, like, yeah, I could live in the wild, the Smoky Mountains.
Oh, I definitely
throws it in there. Yeah.
Get away from society forever. Just drive trucks all day. I'm okay
Well,
with
you got to come back to the gas station, but other than that.
Yeah, especially in a Raider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, how big is the gas tank in a V6 short wheelbase?
I should know this, but I want to say maybe it's like 19. It's definitely over 15.
Yeah.
The four cylinder ones.
It's like a 12 or something.
It's like a 12-gallon tank, so it's like every 180 miles I'm filling up.
Yeah. You love that carb.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, the four-cylinder is great like that, though. It sips the gas.
It does not sip the gas. No. It gets horrible gas mileage.
No?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it probably gets about 15, I guess, which is...
No, it gets worse than my long wheelbase V6.
Wow.
Yeah, I got to carry gas cans if I go deep off-road because
that's
it runs out quick in the woods.
Mine is about, from like the most I've filled it, I got it like maybe 24.5 gallons.
Yeah, the long wheelbase got a big tank.
Yeah.
And then I think as yours is a short wheelbase V6, so you have a coil spring rear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's probably the difference why I have the smaller tank, because more real estate is taken up by the big leaf springs in the back of mine, because the four cylinders still have the leaf spring rear end.
Yeah.
I also thought they did the bigger tank on the V6 just because, again, the V6 is supposed to drink more than the four-cylinder.
The four-cylinder is just working so hard all the time to keep the thing moving that it uses more fuel. Right. Plus, it's carbureted versus fuel-injected, so by design, it's less efficient.
Yeah.
He
admits it. It's on tape.
Episode. You guys got a lot to say about carburetors and fuel injection, huh?
Yeah. I like my carburetors.
We like to tease Brad about it, that's all. It's just fun.
I drove here to Andrew's house successfully in a carbureted vehicle tonight, so everything's fine and good.
Now, if you leave, that'll be the triumph.
Well, worst case, I'll sleep on your couch.
I don't have one right now.
Oh, that's right, too. You're in between couches.
Yeah.
You're in between couches.
Yeah, we got rid of our old one because I redid the floor in my living room, so we threw out the old couch, and we ordered some new stuff. It hasn't come in yet.
That's funny.
So, Eric, were you always into cars or just trucks?
Yeah, I think I've kind of always been into dirt, off-road. I like cars, there's nothing like a good aesthetic. I think cars are beautiful. Again, for some reason I have that you need to modify it at least a little bit. You get tires and rims on a stock vehicle and automatically looks beautiful to me.
Absolutely.
More so than so. But yeah, trucks. I guess my in would be you can laugh like Tonka trucks and stompers, and then
stompers were the best.
My cousins live upstate, so I did some quadding and like off-roading in that respect, and then this makes me chuckle just because I know my parents, so I'm pretty much like born and raised, born in Manhattan but raised on Long Island. My parents would take me a couple times, once a year to the monster truck rally at the NASA Coliseum.
Excellent.
Nice.
So it's hysterical. You're in a Coliseum sucking in carbon, monoxide and going deaf, but it was like, I was like, trucks.
Yeah, I think the only time I saw monster trucks was in Rhode Island at the Dunkin' Donuts arena. So it was basically, giant monster trucks on a hockey rink.
Yeah. That's kind of like, that's exactly what this was. That's exactly what there. It was funny though. I got to see a guy like, in a big lifted truck, like local guys, like fold his frame right in front of an audience.
Excellent.
Silly stuff too.
Doing the tough truck challenge.
It's like, it's open up to everybody. I'm going.
Oops.
And then they're toting it out.
I feel like monster trucks were cooler in the 80s. Am I right, or is that just like nostalgia?
Oh, they were steel bodies. They were definitely cooler.
Yeah. But
yeah, they definitely. Well, if you go, to certain spots, people still love them. But yeah, they're, I guess they had their time.
I've got a picture somewhere. The monster truck, it was called Little Barefoot, was out of like New Hampshire.
It was a Ranger, wasn't it?
Something. It was a Ford something. Yeah. And I remember my parents we would always go to New Hampshire when I was younger. And the shop was like on the way to like wherever we were going, so we stopped. And there's a picture of me and my dad like sitting, like I'm sitting inside the wheel, and my dad's sitting next to it.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like the picture in like Back to the Future 3 when they're next to the clock tower picture, like that.
Yeah. I will say that you bring up stompers, Eric, and that was like my childhood. I had the stomper cases and all the stompers, and those were the best, from the Jeep J10 to the Chevy Blazer and all of them. I had a lot of fun with those things.
Those are cool. I actually, Tamiya have a couple, like if you go on eBay, they're like, Japanese made, like the guys that make, like the radio control cars like Blackfoot, Grasshopper. I actually have a Gen 1, the rally one. I got that, Tamiya, but they have little mini 4x4s, which are basically
bigger
their
stompers.
version of stompers.
Yep.
And I got three Gen 1 shorties.
Oh, nice.
A Gen 2 shorty and a Gen 3 shorty.
I've only ever seen the Gen 3 one. That's cool.
Yeah, we were just looking at these the other day after one of the podcasts because we were kind of talking about Tamiya stuff because we're definitely into that stuff too. They're kind of getting rare. They're hard to find. It's cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm always keeping my eye out. Just for anything that's Raider, Montero, Gen 1. Particularly, I just love the boxy Raider. So just to bring it back, so when I got my license, I went through I was a teenage boy. I basically went through 3 very cheap cars in probably 6 months.
Yeah.
My first was 1979 Pontiac Parisienne.
Excellent.
So it was like a Bonneville.
Yeah, big Bonneville.
But from Canada, so everything was in kilometers there. But my mother always thought I was speeding. I'm like, it's K, Ma, relax.
I feel it's a very New York car.
It was funny. I don't even know how I got it, but threw a piston. That went away. Then I had an 82 Civic hatchback, 5-speed, and that's when I learned to drive stick.
Nice.
So, little hatchback taught me how to drive stick. I think I had it for literally 3 weeks. I totaled that one in an accident. That was the first time my parents were happy I got into an accident because I think they paid $250 for it, and the insurance gave us like $9.
Nice.
So they were like, profit. All right. Good job, Eric.
Until they got the insurance bill.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, my parents, always with the insurance bill.
Living in the moment right there.
That's true. I picked up a D50, believe it or not, a little Mitsubishi, but it was a Dodge Prospector, a two-wheel drive.
So it was a Prospector. I'm guessing it was black and gold.
Worse, it was like two-tone blue.
Oh, even better.
No, you're
it was like powder blue and dark blue.
Excellent.
And then
I would totally drive that now.
By the time I got done with it, though, it had I think it had like a white hood and a red door. My favorite memory of that. So I had that until I got an '89 Raider. But before I get there, right? So my parents, we get a Raider, and the tow truck comes to scrap, the Prospector, and the tow truck guy comes. He's like, he looks at me, like I'm crazy, and he goes, "Did you drive this thing?" And I'm like, yeah, that was my car. And he's like, there's not a single body mount on this car, So he's like, they're all rusted away. And I just looked at him like, now of course I was 17, so I had a streamline, like a film strip of like memories of basically like Tokyo drifting that thing. And I'm like, wow, how did it not fall apart? But that's one of the things about those vehicles. They really are diehard.
Yeah, everybody makes fun of Mitsubishis, and we sit here every week telling everybody how good they are and how they run forever. So
everybody seems to have a cool story about them, old ones.
Yeah, they're pretty diehard. And so I got the Raider. I was looking at like a pickup, and my parents. I was going to commuter college, so They wanted me to get something a little more, reliable, and I picked up an '89 Dodge Raider, black, 5-speed stick, and fully loaded for $9,000 in 1994 with 58,000 miles on it.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that one didn't.
You said $9,000, and I panicked, and then I realized it was 94, and that's okay.
Yeah, 94.
The truck was only 5 years old.
It was a young vehicle, and I drove that one to 310,000. And the only reason why I stopped was I did an engine once, and then the seals were so bad, it was cheaper to just buy another used one, and that was when I parted with the first. But I didn't really get to say goodbye to her because I left her at a buddy of mine's shop who was a Mitsubishi enthusiast, like 3000 GTs, Dodge Stealths, out on the island. And one of his compatriots thought it was just a junk car and sent it to the scrapyard. So one day my buddy called me. He's like, "Oh, you picked up your car?" And I'm like, "No, what do you mean?" And he's like, "It's not here." I'm like, "You're kidding." He's like, "No." And yeah, so long story short, that's never got to say goodbye to the first one.
Oh, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, bummer.
Yeah. It's all good, though. I love these vehicles. They're great.
Yeah, you've had them since '94. That's a pretty good history with them.
Yeah,
So have you always had one?
Yeah, I have. I did a stint with an O when my last one got a little too unreliable, and way too much money to get her back to decent health. I picked up a 02 Wrangler, 5-speed sticks. I wanted the stick, that's what got me in the Jeep, and I took care of that vehicle. I lifted it, 35s, the whole nine, but the frame rotted from the inside out.
Right in the middle. Yep.
Killed me. Oh, that broke my heart. And then I had an '89 sitting right next to it that didn't have a drop of rust. So, I mean, not a drop, but it didn't have the kind of frame rot that my 02 had.
Jeeps are known for that, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, those.
Yeah.
These, like the first gen Monteros and the second gens and stuff, they're just like way overbuilt for the size of the vehicle. Like the frames are way bigger than they ever needed to be. You can kind of tell when you just go under there and look. Like the steel is super thick. So, mostly if they're kept pretty well clean, they're not too rusty, at least in the Northeast.
So I remember Andrew's in good shape.
Yeah, mine is surprisingly, but it came from Colorado, so it's only spent like the last 4 or 5 years out here. It spent most of its life in Colorado, where they don't use a lot of road salt or any, so it saved it.
Mine is a little rustier.
It's still not even that bad.
No, not the frame though, just in the rear wheel wells.
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's a spot.
So
there's a terrible design with the seatbelt that's like a square at the top of the wheel well. So inevitably, dirt just catches there and it rots it so quick.
Yeah, I'm not sure what caused it in mine. It's not where the seatbelt mounts. It's up right in the middle. It's probably where the short wheelbase has that slider window, and I wonder if it just got left open too many times.
Oh, that's possible.
So it got too moisture inside.
It had factory flares on there, too. I don't know if it collected stuff behind them.
I don't know. I have no idea. But so what started with the four-wheeling? Just having the truck and doing it, or?
Yeah, so I live on Long Island, and one of the beautiful things about living on Long Island in New York is we have access to our beaches. We're allowed to go four-wheeling on our beaches. Not many of them. I would say really thanks to the Long Island Beach Buggy Association, and I'm blanking the other one. I think it's like the Rod and Reel Club, but they lobby heavily for open access. We do have a lot of young people. When I started, I was definitely one of them that was, not smart enough to realize that if you drive like, an ignoramus, you put access in question. And people have to defend it. So, obviously now I'm a 40-year-old man. I tread lightly. But as a 17-year-old, I have memories of basically, driving out to Montauk. We have Hither Hills Woods, which is part of the New York State Beach Permit, which is really a trail system. Not a lot, maybe like a 2-mile trail, but it's beautiful woods. You got some, beautiful views of I guess Gardiner's Bay, like the North Shore of the South Fork, if you will. And And then we had this one spot that now is called Shadmore Preserve, just south of Montauk, the town of Montauk. But back in the day, it was just a dirt trail that you could take, and, you needed a truck because there were a lot of it was a washed out road. There were some deep, puddles. Sometimes they were mud. But it was really cool. So it was this trail network. I'd say, maybe 2-3 miles, a little circle, if you will. And there's 2 World War II Army bunkers, in this preserve. And then it ends right at a cliff, and you're looking at, the Atlantic Ocean. And we would drive there. I'd go with my dog, my friends, and we'd surf all day. And, my lineup point would be my truck. I'd be like, all right, I know where I am because I know where my truck is. And, we had so much fun just driving it out, having, again, access to places that, you wouldn't have had access to. I mean, of course, you could walk, you could bike, but you can't carry your surfboards, your cooler or a picnic table, you know what I mean? You can't. And so, the 4x4, gave me that access. And then, just, I guess, seeking out more, I'd say, the thing that makes me laugh, one of the reasons why I enjoy, like, taking the trips, going to the overland rallies is you get to meet new people. I know when you're younger, I'm a high school teacher, I'm a college professor, that's when you meet people. You meet people at school, when you become a professional, the work environment is sometimes so sterilized that, you can't just meet people as people because, you're too busy doing your colleague thing. And so it's nice to be able to, go drive to New Hampshire, right? Meet a bunch of guys. Like, you guys turn out to be pretty cool guys. I hope I'm not too crazy.
No?
And I went to Tennessee and I met Robert, he's a great guy. And William and his dad, great people. Charlie, everybody. So, I think that's part of it for me too. I don't have that. I got 2 beautiful little girls, a wife, stresses, job, and that's like a fun escape.
Yeah, we've definitely met like some of the best people we've ever met through cars and just automotive stuff in general.
Yeah, we got into cars to be into cars, and then I think we love the cars obviously, but the people have kept us here the whole time.
Yeah.
And here we are talking to you on a Wednesday night, and you're in Long Island, and we're sitting here in Massachusetts. We never would be doing that. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So that's pretty cool. But it's the same. It's the kind of car or truck scene that you get into kind of dictates that too. I've the rally world and in the off-roading world. The people have always been really open and really inviting, and they've been a lot friendlier than some people maybe if we were into drag racing. It's more of a laid back lifestyle, and everybody seems to just kind of want to have a good time and no drama. And that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. It was very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sort of jealous that you have beach access because we have so many beaches here.
We can't drive.
You can't drive on them. It's just not. People either own them or it's private access.
Yeah, if I didn't know you were in New York telling that story, it sounded like a California story.
Yeah.
Driving out on the beach, surfing, using your car as a spot point. It sounds like you're talking to us from L.A. or something,
I got to tell you, it's fun. The funny thing, actually, mentioning like meeting new people, I have a lot of friends. My friends, like my core crew of guys that I grew up with, I've always been in different groups in different places. But that said, I'd say every one of my friends has moved to the West Coast. They're all, for the most part, been Long Island surfers. We all like to off-road. We all like to mountain bike. We all like to snowboard. We all like to skateboard. And, that's pretty much everyone in California.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I always chuckle with my friends. I say, they're like, you should move. At this point, my roots are so deep here, I'm not going anywhere. But unless it's an overland trip.
Yeah.
But I say to my friends, I say, in California, everybody surfs, everybody wheels. I'm like, at least here, I'm still a little unique because, not everybody does.
Now, people look at us like we're crazy out here driving in the woods.
No,
pretty much.
I always say it's like everybody that grows up in the East Coast. It's almost everybody's dream to just, for some reason, go west to California. Like it seemed like that in high school. Just even if you weren't into cars or anything, your desire to be in that warm weather. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, I think it's because all the movies and everything really sensationalize, living in Southern California. So
Yeah, although not lately. A lot of movies been made around here, so that's kind of neat. But yeah, definitely looking forward to. Well, we need to talk to Chris with the Delica because he does live on the South Shore, which is about an hour and a half from where we are right now.
Yep.
And he
has
does
beach access.
he does have beach access. It's a little tricky to get a permit. You have to be like there, I think, on the day when they're giving them out and this whole thing, but you can get them. So there is some beach access somewhere down on what they call the it's officially Cape Cod. We call it the Cape.
Yep.
But,
Yep.
so you can do it down there.
He does have some nice pictures of his Delica van sitting on the sand, and it makes me a little jealous that I can't do it.
Yeah, the beach access is fun. The only thing with beach access is when you take a car on the beach, you're fighting rust as soon as you step foot on the sand, or as soon as you step tire, if you will. You got to do you got to undercoat well, and you got to hose off really well, because the sand, that sand has got salt in it, and the sand, you go to the beach, you come home, you've got sand everywhere. You're like, how did I get it there? And it's the exact same way, slowly eat away a car. So, I take it out. I take it out, but I always try to, baby her back. I'll tell you, if you guys ever want, you come down to Long Island. This summer I got the beach permit for my Raider, and I got the beach permit. It's my wife's car, so please no judging on there or anything. But a Honda Pilot.
No, that's fine.
No judgments. My wife drives a Saab, so it's all good.
Yeah. So I have thrown the rooftop tent on the Honda Pilot, and my wife and I did, a little last summer. We did an overland out to Montauk, and we spent the night on the beach. My wife had never camped before, so she got to camp in the rooftop tent on the beach, and she had also never seen shooting stars, and she counted 7 that night. So
excellent. Yeah, I'm sure living in New York, the light pollution makes that a little hard.
Yeah, I think I see 2 stars a night, maybe. I'm just kidding. Yeah. But yeah, definitely a lot of light pollution. Yeah.
So
excellent, Andrew. Any more questions for our lovely guest, Eric?
I think we kind of went over everything.
Excellent.
So, we'll let Brad get to. I think he wanted to do some project car updates on his Colt, and then we'll kind of wrap up the podcast because it's been about 45 minutes, so that's pretty good.
All right. I don't have a lot of project car updates, but I did refresh the carpet in the car the other day.
I saw those pictures.
Yeah, it looks really good, and that's just an aerosol can by Duplicolor.
That's what I used in my truck.
Yeah, it's a carpet dye. It looks really, really good. So
I bought the gray stuff to spray the inside of my
the Montero,
the old Montero, the 89. Yeah,
but it came up really nice. It looks brand new, so I'm happy with that. But it's not really a project car update, just a little side project. I pulled the seats out and sprayed it real quick. So,
So anyway, Eric, is there anywhere that people can follow you on social media, or maybe you don't want people to follow you, but if you do, you can share it now, or it's up to you.
Yeah, that'd be great. Again, I can't cease to advocate Mitsubishi Montero USA on the Facebook page. Just a great group of people. I've been on there for about maybe a year and a half. A lot of the guys came from The Wire. I was Pirate 4x4, brought me over that way. Again, just going off what William had said about, he's been in a lot of different car communities over the years, and the Mitsubishi people are just, really, just a cool bunch. You think of all the drama and nonsense that's on social media and out there today, and it's always, pretty positive. None of that seems to find its way onto the page. I don't know if that's to the great administration, administrators like Frank and Adam DeVeni, but, it's a great page. For me, I'm on, I think it's Northeast Mitsubishi 4x4. That's the Facebook page, Northeast Mitsubishi 4x4. And, that's, we're like a little offshoot page from the bigger page. We just post typically any kind of local stuff we find, parts or cars, and then for trips. So, AJ Vega, he's up in Maine. He's got, like I said, a 2-door 89 short wheelbase. Actually, I don't know if you guys know this or not. I probably shouldn't say anything because I know we still got our fingers crossed about whether it's going to show up or not. But AJ's been trying to work out a deal with Simon Hyde in the UK to bring a turbo diesel, an 89 or 91 turbo diesel over.
Excellent.
A red short wheelbase. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. I know that's kind of a hope. So that might happen.
If that doesn't come to fruition, I can help him get one from Japan too. So.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Yep, that's part of it.
He's all about that turbo diesel. He wants the diesel, you know?
Yeah, and actually, you should have him give me a contact, too, if he doesn't have shipping worked out, because I have some connections in England and in Wales as well that we've been shipping some cars back and forth, so...
Oh, I'll
absolutely.
Yeah, that's for...
we'll love to know that. Yeah, so AJ and I basically, we put a lot of, trips together on that Northeast page, and I actually also joined up recently, just because at the Smoky Mountain Overland Rally, I met some guys that were overland bound guys, and they were all really super nice guys. We wheeled with this kid, Elan from North Carolina. He's an EMT down there. He had I forget what year, but one of the boxy square. The last year they made the Liberty. And, pretty stock. And that kid, went everywhere we went. So, and just a really cool guy. And there was, the guy mentioned Indiana, Willie Goat. He was an overland bound guy. So I reached out to that community. And so this Friday night and Saturday that we're doing in Vermont, it's myself and AJ, Northeast Crew, Mitsubishi Montero. And then I think we got like 6 guys from the Overland Bound group, mostly Connecticut, Jersey, and maybe a Vermonter.
Oh, neat.
Excellent. Actually, as we're sitting here talking, I just joined that page, so.
All right, cool.
Yeah. They're, again, in the same thing like you mentioned about the rally and the Overland people, they're really just open people, just, want to have a good time and, be out in the woods and be in their vehicle. Cool.
Well, you should. We'll talk about it later, but maybe you guys should try to join us for the New England Forest Rally, which is just it's the sports cars we watch race in the woods, but a bunch of us go and then we camp and hang out and watch the rally cars go by. But you spend a lot of time on dirt logging roads and just hang out in the woods waiting for the cars to go by, so it's pretty cool. You might enjoy that.
That actually sounds cool. Yeah, I've always, when you see the Baja 500, the Baja 1000, I'm like, I'd be more than happy to be one of those people that just, rolled my truck to a spot and sat there watching,
Yeah, we do a little bit less than that. Not quite the same level of trucks as that, but the rally cars in Maine, so not as long of a drive as going to Baja.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys mentioned it, I think, last week, but I was looking into the Golden Road just because that seemed like such a cool experience you guys got to do.
It's a very cool experience. It's not a very technical road. It's a lot more. I mean, you could do it in a 2-wheel drive car if you wanted to, but there's a lot of nicer, less open roads up there you can use too off of it. So
yeah,
it's very beautiful scenery, and it's a good trip, and it's a good camping weekend.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Did you guys go all the way into Canada, or?
We went to the border and stopped.
Yeah. There was a gas station right at the border. We got coffee, and then we turned around and went back.
Yeah, we have no reason to go to Canada. It's not worth the effort.
Yes.
Right.
We all had passports and everything, but it was just I don't think so. Not this time.
That's great. Yeah, I was just thinking about it for maybe convince the wife, take a trip with the family. That'd be a cool way to get to Canada,
How old are your kids?
I got a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Oh, excellent. So they're younger then. All right. Because I'm talking about taking the wife and daughter on a trip to the same campground that we stayed at on that trip that Jordan, Andrew, and I took, which is 2 miles from the Canadian border. So my daughter's a little older, though. She's 13, so she probably would want to hang out with a 2- and a 5-year-old.
Right. Yeah, my 5-year-old thinks she's 21, so.
So does my 13-year-old. They'll get along just well.
Yeah.
And she's thought that way for a lot of years.
Yeah. Well, you want a confident woman.
Yeah, I guess so. But that'd be an interesting trip as well, I think. Here we are sitting on the podcast planning trips that will never happen, but
Hey, you never know.
But yeah, that's a fun trip, and if you do make that trip and make a big family trip, I bet my wife and daughter would be kind of a fun. Do some overlanding and some camping, and maybe I'm sure that the wives would get along great. We can go off in the woods and go driving, and they can hang out at the campsite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm glad this worked out. I'm glad we could hear you. You could hear us. I hope listeners enjoy it.
Yeah, I hope it sounds good on the podcast.
And, yeah, pretty surprising. We had 2 weeks in a row with guests. So we had Jordan, and we have Eric.
Yep.
I've got another guest lined up next week.
Oh, is that next week?
Yep.
Okay, excellent.
So coming at you with all these guests. Hopefully keeping it a little more interesting than just me and Brad talking all the time. But as always, you can follow the podcast at Auto Off Topic Podcast on Facebook, on Instagram, Auto Off Topic. You can follow me at Race and Anger on Auto Off Topic. What else? It's, of course, our podcast is always brought to you by
Vintage Imports of New England, or Vine. Vintage Imports NE.com, Vintage Imports New England on Facebook, Vintage Imports of New England on Instagram. Just search it, and I come up all those places. As we were just touched on really quickly, if you have a vehicle you're looking to buy in, Europe or Japan, I can help you out with that. Or, shipping a car here in the States.
Because they only come into so many ports, right?
Well, they come into most. It depends on, where it's coming from.
Oh, okay.
But if we're bringing something in for somebody here on the East Coast, it would probably come either into Maryland or into New York.
Okay.
So, but anyway, and you can find me. My personal page on Instagram is TSISS350.
Cool.
Eric, do you have a Instagram page you want to promote at all, or not? That's cool if you don't.
Yeah, I don't even remember what my Instagram page is.
Excellent.
That's all right.
Perfect.
You know what I would say, though, just the last final word, because we blew up Frank. ADD, the Adventure Design, Toasty, and Jason out there, and what they're doing for the Montero community.
Josh.
Yeah.
Josh. I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me. I mean, what Josh and Toasty have been doing, and all the Arizona crew, it's great, and the different aftermarket parts that they're creating for Gen 2s and 1s, and, it's kind of breathing life, into the community, and that's just great, So I want to thank those guys.
Absolutely. I think maybe we should talk to Josh, maybe do a little cross promotion here.
Oh,
sometime.
yeah, we're getting to that, yeah. We're going to work on that, because that's actually where my 99 Montero came from, was from Josh out in Arizona. That's why it's got no rust on it. So I think we've figured out what's wrong with the engine. We'll talk about that soon.
Excellent.
Because I knew, I can't say this enough, he told me all about the engine noise before I bought it. I totally knew about it. It was me to take on the challenge. I wanted to. So I think we've got it figured out, and I'm going to try to look at it this weekend, and hopefully have an update for you next week. And
excellent. Can't wait.
Yeah. So anyway, if you want, you can please review the podcast, share it with your friends. It really helps us out.
Yeah, review it on iTunes.
Yes, on iTunes. You can also find it on Google Music. I haven't uploaded any older episodes to YouTube in a while. I really should. I just haven't had time, but I will get to it. As always, keep your cars analog.